Hey y'all, today we're doing a sketchbook tour. I bound this sketchbook here. I don't have a video of it, but I do have videos of my bookbinding. But this is the first sketchbook that I bound and completed. And we're just gonna do a quick little tour. I feel like I really learned a lot. I made some kind of like breakthroughs with how I keep a sketchbook, so I'm just gonna kind of ramble about that while I show you what's in here. So let's get to it. So here is the book. I live by a street, so you're gonna hear motorcycle sounds coming from that way a little bit in the background, but it's Roma, I'm guessing by Eliot or Lavelle. I found this antique book and I loved the cover, and so I decided to make a sketchbook out of it. I really hope that it doesn't belong in a museum, but I guess at some point you just kind of have to decide that to go for it. That's from me for sure. This ring was there. You can see there's like a little bit of a coffee stain ring or something. I don't know. It's got a lot of character. These edges were a little bit beat up, and my daily use definitely kept doing that. I don't know if you got a good look at that. This emblem here. It's good stuff, I'd say. So let's take a look. First of all, there was a little bit of drama with this book because I bound it in and I was doing some sketching. I had a few pages where I did some sketching, and then I would go to the back and I would do a little bit of journaling. I took this on a trip with me and I wanted to put a little binder or a little placeholder, and when I glued it back in, I took it out, I glued it back in, and I glued it in upside down. So there's some stuff back here that is, upside down, right side up. So we'll kind of take a look at that as we go. But so I decided there's just like a little bit of like writing in here too, where I'm just like kind of talking about ideas. I saw a cool thing about oarfish, so I was like, let me just do a quick little sketch. I really just wanted to make this a place where I was kind of recording everything, whether it was like ideas, like just stuff off the top of my dome. This was I was just waiting for we were going to France, so I was just like nervously doodling in my you can tell nervously doodling in my sketchbook while we were waiting. These are nice. And I bounce around a lot too, so a lot of this stuff is not necessarily in the same place, but this is while we were on the train. I was just sketching some stuff from what I was seeing out the high-speed train, so they're quick sketches because I couldn't see they'd go by so quick, but things kind of develop as we go. But I was using my sketchbook as a place just to kind of ideate, and I just never felt like I had a good connection with my sketchbook. I wanted to be good about keeping a sketchbook. I enjoyed keeping a sketchbook, but I just was always kind of fighting like the aesthetics of it, I guess. And like I tried to not think about that, but I'd see other people who had these gorgeous sketchbooks and I was like, dang, they look so cool. So I really was trying to be diligent with this book. So I would do a little bit of painting. I would go back and work in things. You're also gonna see some Pikachus over here. We had a contest with some friends where everyone drew Pikachu from memory, and there's some real rowdy boys. So I'm not gonna point them out, but you will notice some Pikachus over in this area that have some, we'll call it characteristics. These were both the same bush. I kind of just did a couple different studies. I was thinking about coming back into these and drawing in them with a pen, but I just decided to leave them. Sometimes I'm just doing mindless doodles. Sometimes I'm like looking at things. This was in the train station. I was just drawing what we could see out the window. Also just like clipping things in that were in other books. Again, random doodles. That was on the flight back. More random doodles. But this is where I'm like kind of figuring out my way in this book. A little bit of journaling. Doug won the best likeness. This is at the airport headed home. This is I was watching the SpongeBob movie on the plane. Clipping stuff in. So I drew these little branches. I was testing some markers, pasted it in here, and then later I came back and watercolored, like filled them in. And this is the kind of stuff that I really, for a long time, I was not being patient with what I was doing. I wanted to like draw it, get it done, and move on to the next page. And I think what I learned in this book is to do something, but then come back to it. Like, you know, at the end of the day, I've been trying to draw every day, draw or paint. And so when I'm not knowing, a friend did this. When I didn't know what to do, or if I'm at the end of the day and I'm tired, like my wife's in bed and I'm kind of just sitting around trying to figure out what to do, I'll just like do a quick little like fill something in, you know, like sometimes I'll even like paint in these random doodles. This is just like a random, like I don't plan anything out, I just make marks, and that feels really nice. But sometimes not feeling obligated to totally brainstorm what to paint, you're kind of just like painting what's already there. More kind of random bits and bobs. So here I was playing with these watercolors, and at some point I also switched to gouache, which you will see. This one I was using a fan brush, which I never really used before, one of these, and it really gives these like kind of messy. That's also what this is here. It just kind of gives these really kind of chaotic and messy marks, and I really like that. I want to do another one of these. But again, it's like I really realized how to play and just try things out. Here I was playing with some lettering. Sometimes I'm looking at things. It's kind of hard to see. That's a mandolin, a food chopping mandolin. Just drawing some kind of tattooy roses. This is a little swatch from a painting that I did, which I will link a video to. I recorded the painting process of that. Some more journaling. This is also, you know, like the morning pages. So like while I'm sitting and having coffee, if I'm not feeling like drawing, I'll sit and write, and it kind of becomes, that's what I really enjoyed about this process of this sketchbook, is it kind of became this like everything. Like I would write in it. I would like things that I heard, you know, quotes or things like that. I don't have a ton of them in here, but like it's just a place for all my ideas. And I don't know if I just never thought of my sketchbooks that way or what, but I just like began, I don't know, this book really felt like I blossomed into like a new era of sketchbooks for me. This was a goblet. I've always wanted to learn how to do this filigree, and I kind of figured out how to do it here. You can also see this was the very first one I did, and I was like, ooh, I like that. Again, I'm always looking at references too, so don't feel like you have to come up with this straight off the dome. I'm looking at a lot of different things when I'm doing this. I was also working on changing my handwriting, which is kind of a wild experience. Tomato. That's nice. I really like these messy pages, you know, where it's like, oh, that's a fun idea, tomato. Even though this was supposed to be a red pepper, it ended up looking like a tomato. Here's just like a color. I just had some paint. I just wanted to push paint around, and so I made this. Just filled it, just like not really having a plan, just kind of just playing, just genuinely playing. I do, now looking back on this has big ketchup mustard relish energy, so that's fun. Yeah, the colors themselves I'm not crazy about, but it feels good just to like fill a spread. I also just like these interesting textures and colors. I have this book of another sketchbook that I made. These are like bird drawings from that sketchbook. So I'm kind of like, I don't know. I'm letting things, if I have an idea, I just do it. And sometimes it's not a good idea, but I get the idea out, and that's what feels good to me. This is a fun guy. I like these little like messy forest sketches. This also, I was looking at an image for this. Here's some more kind of, oh, I think there's a video for this. Yeah, this is from the playing with gouache. So this is acrylic gouache. I'm kind of transitioning into gouache through these pages. And then I think this is the other part of that video, this guy here. My next sketchbook, I want to do a lot more of this thumbnailing. I think thumbnailing is going to be another big step. Some writing. Here I'm playing with drawing kind of frames, playing with the idea of frames for flash pieces. I always like when pieces are framed in like tattoo flash art, so playing with that. Here's another just like color study. I was really obsessed with this color, this like kind of Monet water lily kind of vibe. Doesn't always translate, but I don't know, it feels good to look back on. I like drawing these little sprigs. Sometimes in the morning before I have a day of tattooing, I'll just do these little warm-ups, especially if I have some freehand stuff. There's a couple pages like this. Oh, this, I don't know if you can see this. This is a tattoo I did. This guy wanted a little portrait of his dog on his hand. We put these spiky chains on it. This was another page where I was like, oh, I think I'm having a breakthrough. These guys, you know, looking at references, just like I was having my coffee in the morning, just looking at some stuff on Pinterest, and I drew this and painted it. I mean, I pretty much drew it and painted it straight from a reference, but it feels good to kind of work through things that other people have made. You kind of it helps you understand the work a little bit. So this is another like morning coffee, little drawing and writing. It's another little Pinterest guy. I think the Pinterest one maybe was in color. It didn't have this background, or it wasn't chasing this bug, but I was just like, I'm just gonna do this spread. Most of the work was drawing the bird, and then I just laid the colors down. Working with foliage. I think these are the gouaches. I think I started messing around with some new gouache here. It's another, playing with this filigree. I taped these off just because this ink, it doesn't spread, but it's so thick that it kind of will transfer just from like the pressure of the paper. The paper does have a little bit of toothiness, so I think that's maybe why that's happening. This one, not as successful, but she cute. It's also this little fish head here. Eee. Some more flowers. I do a lot of floral stuff. This was a tattoo that I did. I just really liked the drawing, so I did a messy paint of some extra color that I had, and then I just glued this over. I think I even put a matte varnish over it, which really kind of makes it all feel the same. So this, I was working with the neon color crayons. Hold on, I have them right here. I'll open this up so you can see it while I look to see what this is. These guys. A bunch of people, I feel like you see people use these all over the Neo Color 2. All over, at least all over my YouTube. I see people use it all the time. So this is a black gouache painting on the background, and then I just did those neocolors. I really liked how that felt. This is acrylic gouache. This I think is just gouache, regular gouache. Here's another one of those kind of rowdy tree drawings. I really like these kind of forest scenes. They have a really nice feeling. This signature fell out. I don't know if you can see that tape there. I just used some clear tape to... I had 2 signatures fall out, this one and another one. And I feel like for how much I abused this book, that was the other thing, is I really wanted to abuse this book to see if the way that I was making sketchbooks held. And so by like carrying this around everywhere and kind of keeping it with me all the time, I really put it through the ringer, and I feel like all things considered, she held up pretty well. These are acrylic with a acrylic with a gloss varnish over top. The only thing I don't like about the glass varnish is it's, I don't know if you can hear that, but it's like still kind of like still tacky. It's been dry for weeks, but I don't know why it still feels tacky. Another forest. You guessed it. Look at that. Kind of sunsetty. Ooh. These do also kind of transfer back and forth. You can see that this has some color on it. So I just wanted to prevent them from smudging. I could spray them, but then your book stinks like spray. This is when I started a dry gouache paint palette, and this was the day that I got them in. So these were some morning coffee little sketches, and you'll see that guy come back a little bit later. But even this, I like kind of coming back into these weird little mark making sketches that I do. I don't know, this definitely generates a lot of like interest. This was just kind of a spread I wanted to do, or I really enjoyed doing, that was very kind of tattoo flash floral, like just leafy branchy stuff. I do a lot of stuff like that in my practice, so I think these might turn into flash paintings, or at least like stuff to pick out while you're waiting or stuff to look at while you're waiting in the lobby. This also, I was doing a tattoo that had a bunch of lilies in it. So I was just kind of practicing drawing lily heads, and then that night I came home and I just kind of finished it off and threw some color in there. And it's nice. I mean, it's messy, you know, it's not perfect by any means, but it's that where, you know, you do a little bit where it could feel like, oh, where is it? You know, it feels a little like this when it's just the sketch, but when you come back and add more to it, there's just, I don't know, it gains a quality that I really enjoy. This is that church drawing. I kind of came back and did a bigger one. Again, I really like this thumbnail format. This guy also really turned out well. You know, this is the gouaches, these gouaches again, my dry palette gouaches, and I'm using them more like watercolor. And then with this one here, I wet them more so I could get more of an opaque kind of experience. And this is just, there's something real nice about, I don't know, there's a imperfectness that I really enjoy. Perfectly imperfect, don't you agree? So this is a fun story. You're gonna see this kind of progress as we move on. I wanted to make a sunflower painting for a friend, and I didn't have a ton of like painting flowers super representationally experience. And so this is the very first study I did, and I was like, wow, what a mess. Look at how, like, it's not bad if you really like look at it from far away or squint, but it's just not what I was planning on it to be. But I started drawing some sunflowers. These also are just kind of rowdy. I'm just trying to get the feel for it. I drew these as well, kind of studying off of things I was seeing on Pinterest. I did this painting here. Ooh, starting to come together. Still kind of messy, not as cute. I was kind of trying to bring the feeling of those lemons. Oh, I don't know if I can find them now. Trying to bring that lemon feel back. I really like those red edges, but it just wasn't working. But again, I'm just getting these ideas out. We went camping, and this was some of this is imagined, some of this was stuff that I was looking at. These little flowers are really nice down here. So this is where we're getting into drawings that were in the old version before I re-glued this in upside down. So you will see some of that. I'm not super great at figure drawing, so I kind of did a sloppy figure drawing, and these ribbons are kind of rowdy and nice. Again, I just had some spare paint, so I just kind of slopped it around. Just some more flower drawing, some color swatching. Again, spare colors that I had from a painting I was doing, so I just threw them in. I think if these were lighter, I would maybe come in and do a drawing. I still could come in and just do one of those kind of mindless mark making, but I kind of like how this feels the way it is. Did some more oranges, kind of in that dreamy lemon vibe way. Another lady. This one's better than the other one, but man, that hand is a little rowdy. Here's a little peony that I drew. Another peony. And then this guy has some sort of, I don't know, it's like a furry Lovecraftian monster. Notes on something. Again, I'm just kind of, this was prep for a lavender tattoo that I was doing, a little drawing of my pen. This was in another video I did, the sketch for a flash painting that I did. Here I was testing the opacity, because this is the only yellow I had, so I went out and got some other ones and just wanted to make sure that this one just was so thin when I used it, and you could see too much of the other colors coming through. This is a photo from a wedding I was at. Some weird little characters I found on Pinterest. Another step in the sunflower saga. This one, things are really starting to come together. This is starting to feel like, oh, I can see like they're facing this way, you know, like they're facing outward. You can kind of tell where the light's coming from. Things are being highlighted a little more. I'm starting to figure it out. This was a really nice day. I just went out to one of the lakes and did a little study. This is where it all comes together. I'm gonna flip this quick. This is the final study that I was like, I think I'm ready to go do a painting. And I can post I'll show you, drop a painting or a photo of the painting I did from this study, but this one really felt good. This was like, I think I figured it out. And so even just like that process, seeing that process kind of come to life in this book was a really nice and satisfying feeling to see, like be able to flip through and be like, whoa, look at where I'm like kind of figuring things out. And my other sketchbooks, I didn't have that, that recording. This was another series of flash paintings that I did. Fun wing. Payne's gray, and then I used a white pen. It's kind of got this fun nighttime lavender vibe. Again, another sketch I did for a flash painting that I will pop up here. We're getting towards the end. I'm just playing with color. This is unfinished, but it was the last page of the sketchbook, and I was ready to be done with it, and I tried something out, and it didn't work out, and that's okay. I could definitely work back into it, but Here's some little flowers. That's the last page. So, I mean, I did all of this in about 3 months. I think I made the book in May, but it really wasn't until, I think May was, you know, up till about this point of the sketchbook. And then this was all June, July. And honestly, most of it was probably July. But it's like I was just on a tear. Sometimes it's like that, you know? Sometimes you're really feeling it. There's ups and downs. But thanks for joining me. I'll show you what my next sketchbook is. Out with the old, in with the new. I really like, this is gorgeous, this kind of Art Nouveau vibe. I don't know how well you can see that. Let's get that focused. Ooh-wee. Blank back. I used tone paper in here this time. I'll give you a little sneak peek. Ooh, ooh. A little bit of fruit. This is the original print page, copyright and everything. A little bit of flowers happening, some little studies. You'll see. That's all I have in here right now, but that's where we're at. So these two are kind of have been my last few months. I appreciate you coming with me on this journey. I guess I'll see you in the next one. I'm not even sure what that's going to be. I haven't figured it out. I think I'm going to do, I'll maybe record a painting. I've been doing a lot more acrylic painting, so maybe we'll play with that and I'll bring you along on one of those journeys. But if you made it here, thanks for hanging out. Hope you have a good one. Keep it chill. La, 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 la.